right now, in the spirit of celebrating the woman, I have with me Dr. Susan Gitimu. And Dr. Susan Gitimu is the Director, Women in Film Awards. Dr. Gitimu, welcome to the show.
Asante sana.
What do you love most about being a woman?
What I love about being a woman is that women, we are nurturers. You can take something and just see it grow and persevere the challenges and look for ways to just make it work. Yes.
I love that. I love that. Let's talk about Women in Film Awards. Tell me about that particular awarding show and what exactly inspired you to get into it or to get it up and running?
All right. The idea of the Women in Film Awards was conceived in November 2019. And this was conceived when just women filmmakers, and we were just having coffee after we had attended a Women in Film conference. And we felt that there was a need to celebrate women filmmakers because when you look at the history of filmmaking in Kenya, women have really carried the weight. They're actually the pioneers of filmmaking. When you talk about...
oh, really?
Yeah. When you talk about filmmakers like Dr. Anne Mungai, Ujuru Kenyanjui, Doti Obote, and others, there are quite a number of women who have really done great stuff in the film industry. And we felt that these women filmmakers, they're not celebrated here. Anne Mungai has been celebrated so many times outside Africa, even outside Kenya, with her film Saikati, but she's not been celebrated here. But we celebrated her because she won Most Influential Woman Filmmaker last year, in 2020, the year 2022. So we felt it is good to recognize them. And so we thought, when is the best time to celebrate women filmmakers? Why not International Women's Day? And that is how we came up with the date. And for the last 4 years, we've had it to coincide with the International Women's Day. And if, let's say, we miss the International Women's Day a bit, we have it on a Wednesday, which is Ladies' Day.
Yeah,
or Ladies'
Day.
Day.
Yeah, and this year worked perfectly for you because it's falling on that specific day. You're having the awards tomorrow on International Women's Day.
Exactly.
So when we talk about women being pioneers of film, filmmaking in this country, what is the importance of emphasizing that specifically for the younger woman, the young girl who is watching from home and maybe they have a dream, they are aspiring to get into film making?
Now, historically, filmmaking has been known to be a male-dominated industry.
For sure. And
so seeing women filmmakers who are making it in the industry is actually an encouragement to any woman filmmaker, even any filmmaker who is thinking, or even a lady somewhere who is thinking, this is what I would want to do, but how do I get into that space? But how do I even maneuver myself to become like Judy Kibinge or all these other filmmakers that we hear about? So being pioneers is actually an encouragement to the upcoming woman filmmaker in an industry that is conceived to be male-dominated. Yes.
And as it is right now in the country, do we have enough enough women filmmakers in the field?
I would say there are women filmmakers, and these women filmmakers, they are really doing a lot. We don't have like actual data that we can refer to and say that this is the number of women filmmakers versus this is the number of male filmmakers. And I think that is a gap that needs to be filled, because in any case, if we are coming up with policy in regards to filmmaking, for instance, for many years you've talked about the film policy, and this film policy has never come to light. That data would be crucial in regards to what are we including on this policy, because what are the challenges that the woman filmmaker is facing, and how are we able to incorporate that when you're making decisions in regards to the policy. I will say that the women filmmakers are there. What we are encouraging them through WIFA is get yourself out there. Let us know who you are. And that is one of the objectives of WIFA. We want to raise the voice of the woman filmmaker. We want to make her known. When we had the first awards, WIFA being a nomination award, because it is the public that nominates. So when the public nominates, for us, before we present those nominations to the jury for vetting, we must do due diligence to ensure that the person who is nominated is actually, if let's say I'm nominated as a cinematographer, where is my work? And that is one of the things that we have been encouraging women filmmakers. And we're in the internet stage, we're in the digital era, all these social media platforms. Let people know through your social media platforms what you do. When you go online and let's say you have a nickname, and you're using your nickname, and then you just describe yourself. I'm a mother. I'm a lover of cats. I am a sister. I'm a sister. Yeah, we are all those things and more. However, for that person who is looking for a director to work with, they will not be able to notice you. For that person who is looking for a particular role, they will not be able to notice you. And we have seen this change over the years. We are now seeing more profiles on Instagram, on Facebook, and LinkedIn. We are seeing more profiles of women, not just referring to them as lovers of cats, which is not something that is bad, but now coming out and saying, I am a TV writer, director, and the like, yes.
Yeah. Maybe what challenges is the woman filmmaker facing right now?
One of the challenges you'll hear women filmmakers talk about is, of course, pay. You'll hear women filmmakers complain that their pay could be less than the male counterpart.
Yeah, and that's not just in Kenya. You know, we've had it even with women in Hollywood. We had Taraji speak about it the other time.
Yeah. The other challenge with women filmmakers, like I said in the beginning, women, we are nurturers. At some point, you will, let's say, have a child, and you'll have to step aside to take care of the child. And chances are now coming back again also becomes a hurdle for the woman filmmaker. And of course, there are all these other stories you'll hear about sexual harassment in the industry and the like. And then again, one of the challenges that also we have is, other than the lack of that film policy, the fact that the film industry is not anywhere under the labor's law. So not being represented there, then again, you cannot argue in some aspects in regards to what time you report to work, what time you leave work. I don't know whether you've ever seen these memes of the life of a filmmaker, whereby you get home at 5. You get home at 5 a.m. and then you leave at 5:05. Issues,
yeah. In the Women in Film Awards, what categories are you normally looking at? What categories are there?
So we started with 14 categories. That is in 2020. We started with 14 categories, but these categories were mainly in regards to film, just looking at the director, the producer, the actress, sound, lighting, editing, set designer, costume, and some of the major roles. But one thing we do with WIFA is we are keen on feedback. We listen to what women filmmakers, the feedback that we get. So over the years, and also depending with sponsorships, because ours, again, they rely so much on partnership, we have been able to increase the awards. Like now, with our 2024, we are awarding 31 categories. And so these categories vary across the different areas of filmmaking. I can also say that among the 31 categories that we have 4 categories that are called Filamu Dada. Filamu Dada is a project that was done in partnership with WIFA, WIFA DocuBox, my movies, MFA, Media Focus Africa, Flav and Diesel Communication, and Apple Post Office. And it was about 7 women filmmakers following 7 women leaders during the campaign period. And this is now what is called Firamudada Films. And this is now Firamudada, these 7 filmmakers, they made 7 films.
Okay.
So these 7 films now, after they premiered in October last year, and so they were reviewed by the jury and picked categories that now will be awarded during WIFA. We also have a category that is sponsored by My Movies Africa. My Movies Africa is a platform that premieres, airs local content, and they have a category that is the most watched woman film in their platform, and that also will be awarded during the awards. So we look at the different areas. Of course, we know there are many areas that we have not touched, and hopefully we will be able to grow and we'll be able to see how we can be able to incorporate more categories to just celebrate. WIFA is just about celebrating women.
And we love that when women are celebrated. We love it. How do you go about the nominations? You know, when you are choosing who to have on the awarding ceremony, how do you go about picking, or the nominations? How does it happen? Do we have people nominating the women that they want to see on that list, or do you have them nominating themselves? How do you go about that?
Yes, like I said, WIFA is the whole process. We involve the audience, we involve the public. So we start with the nomination process, the nomination that goes out on 15th of December every year. Yeah. And you can nominate yourself, okay, or you can be nominated by people who have seen your work. Yeah. And so from the list of the nominees, like I can say this year, we had about 4,000 people who were submissions for nomination. And sometimes you'll see one person nominated like 100 times and all that. So after the nomination process, which is done by the public, you can also self-nominate yourself, because at the end of the day, celebrate yourself as well, as in you're doing the work. Yeah. So there's no harm in nominating yourself. So after the nomination, then now we do the due diligence. We need to ensure that whatever you've been nominated for, that is exactly what you do. So we will go to movie credits. We will do our due diligence before presenting these nominees to the jury. And so now the jury sits, and we pick jury who are active in the industry. Wow. Jury who know who is doing what. Because they also need to come with the knowledge that they have of these women filmmakers. And that has made the jury process successful. Because the other thing is, we also want to ensure the credibility of the awards. We don't want to nominate Susan as a TV host, and she's never hosted any show. Yeah. Yes. So we want to maintain the credibility of the awards.
Yeah. And speaking of the jury, just as you've mentioned, maybe who is on this jury?
So we have a resident jury. Her name is Suki Wanza. She's been the jury, a resident or the chief juror for the last 5 years. And Suki is active in the industry. She's a lecturer at KCA, and also she's an actress. She's well versed in the industry. And then we have Wairi Munguyo. Wairi Munguyo is an animator. And since we also have an animation category, then we also have Loretta Joy. She's a casting director. Then we have Vigilance Atieno, and also we have Agnes Kola, who is an assistant director at Firit Productions. So these are women who actually know what is happening in the film industry, and who is working where in the film industry. Yeah.
They are hands on deck when it comes to the film industry. Yes. And what exactly do they judge? You know, what are they looking at? What does the jury look at for them to decide that this is the film that is, you know, worth winning this, or this is the woman who is worth, you know, taking home the best, you know, actor, actress of the year and so on?
Now, in regards to nominations, they look at the work. They look at the work.
Not really on the nominations, now for the ones who are going to be awarded tomorrow.
Okay. Of course, it is also a balance. Most of the time, I can tell you, the jury agrees with the public. Because what happens is, after the nomination, we set these names out for voting to the public. And so what the jury looks at now in the second jury sitting, they look at the votes. And most of the time, they will agree. They will agree with with what the public has decided. Because at the end of the day, I think also the public looks at the work. What has this woman filmmaker done? And you know, even during this particular process, we would get calls asking, I am looking at this particular woman filmmaker. What other shows have they done? Because you realize with WIFA, we celebrate the person. So we have, let's say, Suki Wanza. She has acted in My Empress. She has acted in various shows. So we are looking at her like her whole entire career. Then again, you'll also see emerging women filmmakers. They have not done so much in the industry, but what they are doing right now is actually breaking the ceiling. So it is actually a balance that the jury has to decide. And but I can guarantee that most of the time they totally agree with what comes in as the votes from the public. Yes.
Maybe what has changed over the years in the film industry in Kenya?
Oh, I can say a lot has changed. Honestly, I think a lot has changed. I can say that the industry is vibrant. We are seeing good stories. Like every film starts with a good story. And I don't know why we had not watched Mpakani since its production until it came to...
But you know Mpakani was airing right here on KBC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
However,
it's now on Netflix.
But when it got on Netflix, that is when I think everyone watched.
It's
and
talking
we are like,
about it.
How, where, you know.
Yeah.
But it's such a beautiful production. It's such a beautiful production. So we are seeing changes in the stories that we are making. Because then again, we are in a space whereby the film industry is also global. We are able to access films from any part of the world. Competition is also real. I can decide to either watch a film or I can decide to spend that hour in my status update, posting memes and watching other people's memes. I can go for a coffee. So as in, the competition is real, and I think filmmakers are also realizing this, and so coming up with the complex stories that we can be able to enjoy. For me, a story like Nafsi, Nafsi, I think it really got into me to that point whereby I was asking myself, Susan, as a woman, can you go this far for your friend? You know, as in you just need to, as in it puts you in a situation where you can also reflect in your own life. Then again, I think now there are more opportunities of having your film out there, and I think we need to have a system whereby any film can be watched. Any film made by any woman filmmaker, or even just made by any filmmaker, has a platform where it can be watched. So these are the things that we are seeing coming, changing in the film industry. We are seeing more, as in more groups come up that are empowering women, and also just being there to offer, let's say, masterclass in different areas of filmmaking. And these classes or these particular trainings, they're actually helping the growth of the film industry. We've also now seen higher institutions of education also incorporating filmmaking as part of their curriculum. And this curriculum is also being is also in CBC, which is also good progress.
Yeah, it's good progress. According to you, what makes a good story? I know you've mentioned Nafsi, and you said the reason why you feel it was a good story is because it allowed you to reflect, you know? So what makes a good story? Is it the fact that a story should allow you to reflect, or what else makes a good story?
I think we all love watching different genres of film. I watch local content a lot. I also love watching horror films a lot, because then again they also have that adrenaline that they also add to when you're watching them. So for me, a good story, I think it's a story that the audience can resonate with. Yeah, it is not a story that feels you know, and maybe that is why, of course, when we watch some of these adaptations that we see, which are very good stories, but sometimes you watch and you feel that this does not resonate with a Kenyan. You know, this does not resonate with who exactly who we are. So for me, I think a good story is a story that I can identify with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. As we almost finish off with this conversation, I want you to tell not really me, the woman back at home, you know, who is aspiring to be a filmmaker, who is already in the field of filmmaking, how to position themselves the right way.
Here?
Yeah.
Yes. So how to position yourself the right way? Work on yourself. You don't work hard at your job, you work hard at yourself. And how can you work hard at yourself? You work hard at your skills, as in just improving your skills. Becoming is a process, and that process you have to be ready to work for it. Then also look out for networking purposes. We say that your network is your net worth. So who is in your circle? And whoever is in your circle can actually push you towards achieving the goals that you want to achieve.
I love that. Okay, so Women in Film Awards is happening tomorrow. Where exactly is it going to take place, and the timing?
So Women in Film Awards will take place at KICD, Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. They have a very beautiful space called the Necessary Resource Center. So that is where we will be from 5:30 until late. It is an invite only awards.
I was about to ask you to invite the people. It's an invite only.
Yes, it's an invite only.
Yeah.
However, we'll also be streaming live on our Facebook page, Women in Film Awards Kenya, for people who will not be able to attend. And we are sure it's going to be a moment to remember and to celebrate women filmmakers.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Asante sana.
And I hope to, okay, I didn't receive an invite. I was to say I hope to make it for the
you
event.
You are invited.
Thank you so much.
Asante sana.
All right, right now we head straight to a musical break.